Yo, what's good? It's your boy Mixtape Moth, and today I'm going to hit y'all with a review of the new Migos album entitled Culture 3. Let's get to it. Alright, so Migos is an Atlanta trap trio who took trap music to new commercial heights in the 2010s. Now, whether you like them or not, it is hard to deny their impact on shaping modern trap music over the last decade. Although it is pretty clear that you don't listen to these guys for their lyrical content. I mean, that's a given. Instead, they are a group that you tune into when you want to hear bangers, catchy flows, and just that overall rich trap like aesthetic. So their 2017 project, Culture 1, was actually a very well put together trap album. It was cohesive, sonically pleasing, and not too long in length. However, in 2018, they dropped the ball pretty hard with Culture 2. It was a bloated and forgettable album that lasted an overwhelming hour and 45 minutes. It rightfully received negative feedback and was the brunt of jokes for a period of time. But now the Migos are finally back on the scene with Culture 3. There was a high enough level of anticipation going into this since the last thing we got for them was in 2018. This project, Culture 3, contains 19 tracks and lasts an hour and 15 minutes. Now, that's still way too long for a Migos album, but I guess it's at a half hour shorter than before. I didn't really have any expectations going into this, but I was curious to see if they were able to transition back into the mix since the musical landscape has changed somewhat since their last effort. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and hit y'all with this track by track breakdown. The opener, Avalanche, is unexpectedly groovy and soulful as they are rapping over the Temptations' Papa Was a Rolling Stone sample. I thought it was great to hear Migos over this style of jazzy and soulful production. It's a very classy, funky, and mature look for them. You almost get a summertime chic feel with this, and I feel it was a dope and surprising way to set this off. Track 2 is Having Our Way featuring Drake. This has a really moody and atmospheric beat. It's almost as skeletal as Drake's Tootsie Slide single. I feel in terms of flow and energy, Takeoff and Offset sound the best here. Drake, on the other hand, gives us a pretty low energy verse. His bars were light and not very attention grabbing. On the whole, I feel this song was just alright. You know, there were no fireworks whatsoever. Track 3 is their single Straightening, which is a pretty straightforward banger. It fits the Migos aesthetic well and is something cool to vibe to. So I have no complaints with this one. Now, the following record, Type Shit, features Cardi B. It has an anthem flavor with production from Takeoff and Murder Beats. However, there's nothing really too unique with this. It's just an up-tempo record with a decent beat, kind of cookie cutter-esque. I was getting some Khaled compilation vibes from this, honestly. Track 5, Malibu, has a wavy and bouncy beat with synth horns. This features a bad performance from Polo G, who raps more offbeat than G Herbo on his worst day. Now, I'm actually rooting for Polo G, and I like him, but this was not a good verse. But listen, Takeoff has something that I have to quote. I done been rich like Roddy. All my guys will send you to the box. I got stick ops. I told you we gonna make it like the locks. Yo, the fact that Takeoff referenced Jadakiss's classic We Gonna Make It is unexpected and pretty impressive. Could he be a hip hop head on the low? Right after is Birthday, a track that I had to skip because it's just a generic club banger. Obviously geared for the ladies. There's kind of a DJ Mustard West Coast flavor to this. It's just a song that I can never see myself revisiting. Now, I'm not gonna run out of the room if they play it at the bar or club, but I'm not gonna be too hype either. What follows is Modern Day, produced by Murder Beats. This is more of an eerie banger with a fantastic trap beat. Takeoff stood out the most to me again as he switched up his flow in the middle of the verse. This is a dope street record that does give me some Culture 1 vibes. Next up is Vaccine. Now, it's not really about COVID per se. Rather, they view money as the real cure or the vaccine. And they also talk about getting rich during the quarantine. It's a boastful money anthem, but I really like the beat, which samples from Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker. Yeah, who would have thought that the Migos would have gotten inspiration from this classical ballet, but I guess stranger things have happened. I feel the following track, Picasso, could have been better considering there is a feature from Future. Now, I like the flute-like beat, but his singing just doesn't really do it for me. It's an okay track, but pretty forgettable. Now, I do like the eerie and nocturnal trap production on Roadrunner. This Zaytoven beat might not be the most distinct, but it does work for the vibe that they were trying to create, as this record is something for the hood and for the trap. Surprisingly, the following song, What You See, featuring Justin Bieber, isn't bad at all. Now, I really dislike seeing Justin Bieber's name attached to anything, but I couldn't hate the man actually didn't sound bad here. Now, this is your standard relationship Bonnie and Clyde type of record, but I did like the guitar strumming beat and Bieber did his thing. The subsequent track is Jane. It has a dope Latin trap beat. The horns are great, but I feel lyrically it's really weak. The She Want a Birkin, I Told Her Work It hook is repeated over and over. It's so basic that it's almost comical. However, things do get a little more serious and somber on the following track, Antisocial, which features the late Juice WRLD. The Murder Beats instrumental is gloomy, but I do like the violins. This record is about mental health and drug addiction. I'd say it's really the only thought-provoking record on the album. Takeoff has a line that might resonate with folks. He says, they want us to stop taking drugs, but ain't nobody stopping the killing. Fair enough. Track 14 is Why Not? The production that we get here is more in tune with the Culture One Migos. It has a suspenseful trap beat that's gritty and dark. I also noticed that the melody on the hook sounds eerily similar to Bad and Bougie. Right after is the bass heavy and ethereal banger Mahomes. It has a layered trap instrumental. This time around, it was Quavo who caught my attention. He had a line that I found to be a little interesting and amusing. Who was Montana? Tony Montana wouldn't live one night if he stayed in Atlanta. Like, I know Atlanta can be bad, but I don't think there was really anything soft about Tony Montana. I think he could adapt pretty quick. Yeah, even with the shooters down there. Now, Frank Lopez, on the other hand, now that cat would be shook and he wouldn't survive a night. Nah, but Tony would be straight. Track 16 is Handle My Business. It has a minimalist trap beat with moody keys and faint strings. The theme here is about growing up in a position where they were forced to be thugs and they didn't have much guidance. It's very much a for the trenches type record. Now, the song Time For Me finds the Migos members doing some introspection on top of a Roddy Ricch style beat. It's solid, but probably not one I'm going to go back to. But things do heat up on the second to last track, Light It Up. This features the late Pop Smoke, and it's a drill banger, plain and simple. The content is pretty standard for drill music, and the instrumental sounds perfectly suited for Pop Smoke. I had no complaints with this record, as it was kind of cool to see Migos over a drill beat. Then the album wraps up with Need It, featuring NBA Youngboy. Now, this beat was actually fire, as it samples from 50 Cent's Get in the Car. Aside from the dope beat, what I did like about this track was the back and forth that each member did with NBA Youngboy. I thought their chemistry was intact, and all in all, it was a solid way to close the project. Overall, I give this album a rating of 3 mics. It's decent, worth checking out. Now, there is some filler, but that's expected considering it has 19 tracks. Although I'd say it's a step up from their horrendous Culture 2. That's for certain. No, it's not on the level of Culture 1, but they didn't really mess up things here, and I guess that's all that matters. There were no glaring missteps or anything totally lackluster. It just lacked songs and instrumentals that were as impressive as Get Right Witcha, Bad and Bougie, Slippery, and Deads. Sure, they did manage to overstay their welcome a little bit, but I feel this is something that a lot of trap artists tend to struggle with anymore, as trap projects tend to be super lengthy. Now, boom bap artists are winning in this climate, on the other hand, because they tend to abide by the less is more formula. On average, their projects contain anywhere from 7 to 14 tracks. Look, at the end of the day, this is probably the best return that hardcore Migos fans could have asked for, as they simply didn't fuck it up. My favorite tracks include Avalanche, Modern Day, Vaccine, What You See, Why Not, Light It Up, and Need It. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section below. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Migos Culture 3, 1.